Kia ora. Hey there, how's it going? I wanted to touch base with you this week because this week I'm focusing on stage one of the three-stage process of writing your story, which may become a book one day. And this stage one part is the writing of the book, which for some people may come as a surprise to know that that's only sort of a third or even a quarter of the process of writing a book. Well, it's really a third, but then at the end, a whole other stage is the marketing of the book if you're wanting to sell your book. But anyway, the three main stages of writing your book are the writing stage, the editing stage, and the design stage. And today, I want to give you a pep talk about writing your story. So this is obviously the most important thing because of all the three stages of writing a book, if you don't have your story written, you don't have anything to edit or anything design into a book. So, and these are your words. This is definitely the most important stage of writing your book. And which is why we can sometimes put the most pressure on ourselves to do a good job of it. But I'd really like you to try and take as much pressure off yourself as you can at this stage. I often talk about allowing yourself to write your messy first draft, and let your first draft be messy, because it always is. You know, I've been writing for decades, and I always write the first draft of the book, of the story that ends up being completed, is probably quite different to, I don't know, the fourth or the fifth draft of the story that may get made into a book or made into an article. And you know, it's like a potter. We get our lump of clay, we start off making something really basic, and then we improve it. Now let's make that a sculptor. Not that I am a potter, but I once was. So there are many different ways that people write their stories. There's no wrong or right way to write your story. I know that some of my memoir students on my course, Write Your Memoir, are up to their eyeballs in researching family history and making notes. They haven't even started writing yet. I know that other students on my course actually cannot be bothered with research. And some of them, their family members have already taken care of that, and they've already recorded the details of their family history, and they just want to share memories, so they can just write straight from their memory banks. They can just write, and they're really, really happy to do that. And both ways and everything in between are 100% valid. And some people will write a little bit, then they'll gather intel, and then they'll write a little bit more. That can be me sometimes. I'm writing a novel at a snail's pace, and thanks to lovely Google, I can just Google keywords as I write and find out information about what was happening in the 1880s, which is where a large chunk of my novel is set. I mean, my novel is only very loosely based upon history, so I can get really creative. But for those who want to have their stories a lot more accurate, which is super important for some people, especially when we're writing family histories, it can definitely be important to find those details. So I find, for me, it's useful to have a basic plan, sort of the skeleton or the frame. You know, if you use a metaphor of a house, you can't build a house without getting the frame up. Same with the book. But having said that, I do reserve the right to change my plans a little bit as I go, because sometimes I might want to. But having the frame, having the structure in mind, helps me feel more organised and less overwhelmed as I write, because I know what part of the story I'm writing on, because I've already thought about it and planned it. So some days you might give your story 10 minutes. Other days you might be deeply engrossed in your work and not want to stop. And I think the most important thing is to just be doing something, because every little bit of work you put into your story takes you that little bit closer to finishing that first draft of your story. And the other thing about it is, it's when you're writing a story, often, you know, with a memoir, life story, family history, or whatever type of story you're writing, actually, these things normally involve quite a lot of work and quite a lot of words, quite a lot of pages. It's easy to feel overwhelmed. When you feel overwhelmed, take some deep breaths, slow down, maybe pause, and then ask yourself, what is the what's the low-hanging fruit? What is the next easy thing that you can do that will make you feel like you're making progress? And it also seems easy. It doesn't seem difficult. If you feel overwhelmed, choose the next easy thing to do. What else do I want to say? Okay, so we've got these. So if I was to break down the process of writing your story, this is what I've come up with. It's planning, it's gathering information, it's writing, and it's a lot more writing. It's polishing. And that's before the editing phase. That's before maybe someone else looks at it. And if you keep doing this, one day you'll find you've written your story. And imagine how that's going to feel. At the very least, if you can get that first draft written, you will be leaving something very, very important behind for future generations. Not to mention yourself. You will be completing a project that's obviously important to you, because it must be important, because writing your memoir is no easy feat. So keep going, and one day you'll have that finished story. Okay, great to tune into you today. My name is Charlotte Squire. If you'd like to work with me more in depth, check out my course, Write Your Memoir. There's a payment plan available. I would love to work with you. Students of the course then get to be part of my private Facebook support group, and you can tune in any day you want, and you also get some one-on-one chats with me. The course will take you through mostly the first stage, the writing stage of the book, but it teaches you about the editing and the design phase as well. Having said that, if you're going to take it through to the actual printed book stage, we can't quite take you the whole way within the course, because everyone's story is different. But yeah, that's what the course will take you through. It'll get your story written, which is the most important part, because without your words, we don't have your story. Okay, right on.